Hey guys, Buffing Game at today bringing out a video, and today we're going over the day 1 patch and the pre-day 1 patch here for Battlefield 2042. So this will be launching here on prior to the day 1 patch. The day 1 patch is scheduled on the 19th of November. This new patch that we're discussing here today is titled 0.2.1. This will be launching across all platforms tomorrow, November 18th at 8 a.m. UTC. So during this time, the servers apparently will be shut down or offline for 60 minutes while the patch is applied. And the patch notes here we'll go over, and then we'll get into some other patches for the day 1, day 7, and the day 25 patches, which are already scheduled or are rumored to be scheduled. So first off, for the patches, or the patch coming tomorrow, these fixes I'll link down below, and here we'll go through them. Implemented server-side upgrades that are targeted at reducing instances of rubber banding often experienced later in the rounds of all-out warfare mode. Also, significantly reduced instances of stuttering when playing on breakaway. If silos are destroyed, it should no longer reduce performance on the server. And then a side note is this is being looked at on other maps as well, where the Evolution is in effect. Something, for example, would be the rocket launch on Orbital the other day. We destroyed the rocket, and we definitely had a lot of stuttering in that mode during that sequence for probably about 5 seconds while the rocket was exploding. So they're looking at that to resolve that. Next up would be when looking at allies on your team, their names will now be displayed correctly. So apparently that was an issue. They also are going to be adjusting the animation for Falk during the end round sequence to ensure that she is displayed correctly. So that's one thing. However, in all-out war mode, the end squad screen, I'm not even able to see my squad still, so I'm not sure if that's still an issue for anybody else, or maybe it's just me. Also, we have updated skin earnable for Boris via mastery progression with new name Gator. So they updated his skin. Apparently there was some name that was incorrect or something that they fixed, so they upgraded the progression and changed the name to Gator. Also, ensure that TDM rounds in Battlefield Portal always start with random deploy set as active. When observed, or we observed that this sometimes wasn't the case when moving from round to round, but is now fixed. Also applied a set of measures to ensure that the correct number of AI spawn in custom Battlefield Portal modes using the free-for-all preset. PC only update would be enable specialist selection in hazard zone via mouse insertion or interaction, removing the need to lock your selection with the spacebar. They also fixed a rare occurrence in hazard zone where you would sometimes cause the end of round flow to not activate correctly, ensuring that the correct amount of XP was not awarded. They also there was a repair on an issue found in hazard zone that could cause players to show on the map when they weren't visible or spotted, and provided a fix in hazard zone players who were not seeing the extraction streaks update correctly after the round. So all of that will be adjusted. I'll link that down below. Now this is going to be coming one day prior to the day 1 update, or the day 1 patch, which should be scheduled here on November 19th. Now, according to Insider Tom Henderson, these patches are going to be scheduled on the 19th for the day 1 patch, which this one is going to be the launch patch. So we're not sure what this is going to include yet. We don't have patch notes for it, but I'm assuming it'll be quite a bit of things addressed here. Maybe something with the voice over IP may be coming, maybe a scoreboard, things like that. Next up, we have a day 10 patch. This will be present on November 30th. It'll be implemented. This is going to be a quality of life update. So this should be a big one, I would say. This should hopefully address a lot of balance and balancing issues with the gameplay, the guns, the vehicles, etc., as well as quality of life update. Hopefully it addresses things like the in-game UI and other issues that we're seeing as well. And then day 25 patch on December 7th, this will be a content patch. So have to see if the schedule stays true, according to what Tom Henderson is saying. Overall, I think the game's, honestly, I'm not really sure. I'm seeing the game get a lot of hate on social media and things like that. I'm having a lot of fun. There's definitely some issues, that is without a doubt. However, for a launch of a Battlefield game, this is actually going pretty well. Now, like I said, there's definitely some balancing and quality of life changes that need to be made to this. Specifically, the UI, the in-game UI, things like that, which they're already addressing. They've already made note that they will be fixing a lot of these things that we're seeing. Some things to note here, like being in a helicopter, for example, since I do like to fly the helicopters quite a bit, not having an indication as to what direction you're being locked up from an air-to-air missile or a surface-to-air missile, something like another helicopter locking you, or a Stinger. You don't have a directional indicator as to where that's coming from, so you could keep flying right towards it, which is a problem, especially in this game, because the stinger range seems to be almost infinite. I'm not sure. It's very far away, and the problem with stingers right now, I'm not sure if they're bugged, but you'll get locked up, you'll flare, and then by the time that stinger has reloaded, it's already locked you again and fired. And it seems like there's an issue here where you're getting double hit with stingers. So you get hit with one stinger and it hits you twice and kills you. So I'm not sure what that is. It's a one-hit kill in some instances, which makes it extremely difficult as a helicopter pilot to try and engage and be effective with my team. Now, a lot of these times I may not have a gunner, so that's one issue, but there's other things like gameplay changes. The gunner, for example, in the Apache and the attack helicopters not having anything else besides the 30mm gun. I know in previous Battlefield games like Battlefield 3 and then 4, for example, we've had the gunner who has had flares in Battlefield 3, also surface or air-to-ground missiles, as well as a TV missile to help out with vehicles, especially with how strong the vehicles are in this game. I know the hovercraft, it seems like it's definitely going to be getting a nerf to its health at some point, and hopefully its movement, but the hovercraft, I made 6 passes on that thing with an attack helicopter the other day, and I believe I even had anti-vehicle rockets on it. It just wasn't dying. So definitely some vehicles that are very overpowered. Tanks don't seem to be that overpowered. I'm able to take out tanks pretty easily, but the hovercraft is definitely one of those caveats, which definitely needs a big nerf right away. And I think one thing here is because of the amount of vehicles, something like a gunner air-to-ground missile would definitely be useful. TV missile. Give the gunner something more to do besides shoot at infantry. Especially, you notice if you play the Portal, the chain gun fire rate has been reduced dramatically from the Battlefield 3 Portal version of the helicopters. So hopefully we'll see some of that make its way in. I'm sure maybe that'll be a content patch on day 25. We'll be seeing some of these things added, as well as maybe even weapons. That'd be really nice. I think overall the gunplay, just something a little odd there. Some days is really good, other days not really good. I find it really hard to get on target. It could be my sensitivity levels. I'm still tweaking some things here and there, but they've already addressed the weapon bloom or the spread. That'll be being covered here in one of these patches upcoming. So we'll be getting that. That'll be reduced quite heavily. That way, when you're aiming at targets and shooting, the bullets are going where you're shooting. That'll make it a lot easier. Somebody like myself, I've been using the SCAR a little bit lately, leveling that up, and only having the 21 rounds in that startup magazine for the high power to 7.62x51 basically makes it very difficult to kill somebody, especially at those longer ranges, unless you're tap firing, which is fine. However, the TTK means that basically you're going to be expending all 21 rounds to get that one kill, which is a bit of a problem. So it seems like they've already been aware of this. DICE is doing a really good job of acknowledging some of the issues, and I'm sure a lot of these have been planned prior to the launch, just a matter of what versions they can get them in. So we'll have to see what this patch looks like when it's done. Have to see what the day 1 patch includes. Hopefully we get some voice over IP included here too soon for the cross console or cross play activation. That way we can talk to our PC friends here and our Xbox friends. But let me know down below what you guys think of the game so far. If you're having a good time, what version you're going to be buying, if you're going to be playing it this weekend for the first time when it officially launches on November 19th. Till next time, this is Buffner Gaming, out.